Hi everyone, very happy to have you today for this panel, this interview, because we actually just announced an exciting opportunity for our BGA members to participate in OMA3 project and support OMA3 activities. And the purpose of this actually interview is to understand better the OMA3 activities and mission, but also to learn about who is behind this organization and why did we decide to do the announcements and this partnership together. So without any further ado, I would love to let Alfred and Baptiste introduce themselves first. So Alfred, if you can start, please do so.
Sure. I'm Alfred Tom. I am the acting executive director for 3. I was brought in by the OMA3 founders to run OMA3 because I have a lot of experience, decades of experience running industry consortia. And I've also been in Web3 since 2017, building a lot of enterprise blockchain solutions for industry.
Awesome. It's wonderful to have you, Alfred. And Baptiste, could you introduce yourself as well?
Great. Thank you so much, Vav. It's great to be here. I'm Baptiste Samadian. I am the co-founder of OMA3, and I'm also the vice chair of the executive committee. And I am also the chair for the working group focused on portaling and mapping. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you to give some context about the announcement. Obviously, it makes sense so we can understand better about anything related to OMA3. And the first question I would love to ask is actually, could you explain OMA3 activities and missions? Baptiste, if you want to start.
Yeah, of course. So OMA3 stands for the Open Metaverse Alliance for Web3. We fundamentally believe that there was a consortium needed for the metaverse and infrastructure companies and virtual world companies to come together and basically create this Swiss association, which is headquartered in Zug. Our general mission is essentially to empower the user-owned metaverse and make sure that it's interoperable and stays open. We really strive to contribute to a more inclusive, innovative, creative, and connected environment. And we fundamentally believe that user ownership is important, decentralization, inclusive participation, transparent governance, fair utility, and privacy and security. And so we've basically formed some core principles around interoperability, standardization, and user ownership, and have managed to gather quite a lot of people from the Web3 space to join us on our mission and within our working groups.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I think it's been almost, or you will tell me actually 1 year exactly that OMA3 has been created. What could you share your milestone since the creation of OMA3?
Yeah, sure. So it hasn't been a year yet. It will be in November this year. There were just kind of like recruiting activities prior to that. So we founded in November 2022. What we have done kind of essentially to date is we've brought together key virtual world founders as well as top infrastructure players within the Web3 together into this consortium. We founded it. We created all of the fundamental infrastructure for basically having a consortium, being a consortium versus being a working group or just a group is quite a lot more processes involved to like fundamentally run one of these. We have set up a few working groups to date, so that would be the second big milestone. The working groups are interworld portals, interworld asset transfer, land domain names, and part of the mapping, as well as NFTs. So that's that. We've designated working group leaders and chairs. For example, I'm leading the interworld portaling and mapping group. Within them, we have started to do things like go through use cases, threats, requirements, specifications to basically take the working group in a consortium manner forward. And so one of the bigger milestones that we're pretty proud of is that we have made quite a lot of progress with the portaling and mapping working group. We've already come up with use cases, we've come up with threats, requirements. We've even published already on GitHub a public documentation of our first draft views that anyone can come and edit to or contribute towards. And we have also started to take some measures forward with 3 experimental projects that are working together to experimentally come up with a initial prototype for a protocol for portaling. So we're very excited about that. Super proud of the progress we have made there to date. Alfred, is there anything else I've missed that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think it's important to bring up that, you know, we have a certain process that we follow when we create standards. So in my, you know, decades of experience building standards, there's a really efficient way to do them that comes up with the best outcome, and it's not entirely obvious. It's kind of like software development, right? So there's different processes for software development. There's waterfall, there's agile. In the standards world, there's one that actually really works well, and it's more of a waterfall style, you know, process. It starts with building a use case or use cases, so you actually understand what this technology is supposed to do, all the different actors that are in play. Then you have to think about cybersecurity threats early on, and you start building requirements. And then from there, you come up with this document that says, okay, this is kind of what we want to build. These are the issues that we want to address, and here are the requirements. And then after that, you know, instead of doing this massive brainstorm on, okay, what should this thing look like, the members build their own proposals and specifications and introduce them, and then they get commented on. And so if you do that, it's kind of hard. You don't get these flame wars back and forth. My solution is better than your solution, blah, blah, blah. You have like an objective criteria where you're measuring each different solution to, and that makes for a much more productive conversation and also gets the best outcome from a technology standpoint. So that's why it takes a little bit longer, but we know how to do this pretty quickly. I suspect that November timeframe, we're going to have a really good idea of what this solution looks like and what we need to build.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, guys. You actually anticipated a lot of questions I have for you, so it's perfect that you explained that process. So I understand that every members can have a say with the kind of topic they would like to cover as well. That's how you actually mapped these 4 workshop. How does it work? How people could join? Is it something open to, when I say everyone in OMA3 can actually join and participate? And how could you explain a little bit more about each one of them, what kind of topic you try to tackle?
Sure, I can take that one. Yeah, so OMA3 has like 2 different membership classifications. One is the sponsor classification, and those are the companies that really want to support OMA3 from a financial standpoint, and also control the administrative aspects of OMA3. Like, you know, the whole BGA partnership was that had to be voted on by the sponsors. But most of the real work happens in the working groups, and so that you get involvement from the other classification member, which is the creator member classification. And creator members and sponsors, they have equal power in these working group meetings. So we go by a 1 member, 1 vote policy. So, you know, these really large companies that are in OMA3, they have the same amount of voting power as, you know, the 2-person startup that joins. And so that's generally how it works. The offer to BGA members is you're welcome to participate in these meetings, contribute, and, you know, voice your opinion. If there is going to be a vote, then BGA members wouldn't have a vote. They would have to join OMA3 to have that vote. But generally, our votes have been pretty obvious, right? Since we follow a certain process, you know, most of them have been unanimous decisions by the working group. That might change when we come to specifications. You know, you might have to vote one way or another. For example, if you vote for some kind of JSON format for some data structure or a binary structure, right? You can't have both. You have to have one or the other. So that's the type of things that that the vote counts and the vote matters.
Yeah, do you expect to create new ones? Actually, you already have 4 workshops, which is actually already quite impressive because you cover a lot of different things. As things change quite quickly in the Web3/gaming world, do you plan to also move forward with more a topic to cover, or it all come to the same 4 workshop, 4 topics, main topic that you're covering?
Yeah, I can take that as well. So it's all membership driven. We just created another working group called the Token Working Group, and we just released our soulbound token light paper on GitHub. So if you go to GitHub /OMA3 DAO, you'll see 2 projects there, one for token and one for the portaling. And so we're actually creating this DAO-like structure for OMA3, but instead of one, we are giving everybody a soulbound token, and they can use that soulbound token to vote, and track the reputation of each member in terms of participation and contributions and whatnot. So that's another working group that just started up. That'll start end of this month.
That's actually wonderful, because obviously as a non-profit organization involved in Web3, we'd like to tend to this kind of organization with the Web3 technology like soulbound token. So it's wonderful that you are working on that on your side, and I'm pretty sure that not related to this partnership, but obviously try to see what you're doing as a non-profit organization will help us, the BGA, to actually do also the same thing in terms of how to measure the reputation of our members and the decision they make in the BGA. So it's wonderful to capitalize on what you do as well. I think so. The BGA really gather obviously blockchain game companies, game publishers, but not only any companies, type of company involved in blockchain gaming, which could be law firms, could be VCs, it could be NFT marketplaces, layer 1, layer 2. Do you feel like every members could be concerned by the workshop that that OMA3 is actually handling and organizing?
I just want to take that.
I need you to repeat it. Sorry.
Okay. The question is, we have different companies, game companies, but not only. Any kind of companies, type of companies, could be VCs, not directly related to gaming, but in a sense they are, based on their activity and their willingness to learn more and maybe to help as well game companies, so VCs, law firms, and NFT marketplaces and everything. So do you feel like those companies as well could be concerned about what you do?
I think definitely. I mean, just to kind of combine it with the previous question Alfred answered, right? The working groups are ever evolving important topics in the priority that we see fit, right? So as things move maybe from, portaling to suddenly privacy and security becoming important, or worrying about, some sort of agreements between interoperable chain solutions, etc. I think we've already started having some people showing interest to join us that are either on the venture side or legal side, or are just Web3 companies unrelated to the metaverse to date. Fundamentally, I think it will grow, because as we slowly move towards this spatial internet, 3D internet, metaverse, I think it will become kind of like a fundamental change in how we use computers anyway. So I think everyone will eventually become fundamental parts of it. And I mean, you being kind of like the lead over at BGA, right? You must see it quite similarly.
No, totally. I think you're totally right, and that's why I wanted really to ask you that question, to let all BGA members feel concerned about what you do and your mission as well. So it's perfect for that, and really Thank you very much for your time, guys. I don't know if you have anything you would like to mention based on the announcement, but really for us, even if it was quick, it was important to give some context about this announcement. So yeah, do you have anything else you would like to share?
I think one last thing I'd like to say here. So first of all, we're extremely excited about this partnership and the collaborative energy that we can put together towards an open gaming and productivity and social worlds, etc. alliance. So I'm very excited about that, and I really encourage the members of BGA who do have the curiosity in the working groups that we're involved with, to reach out and see how they can help contribute today, because it's really excitingly, it's really up to us to help keep the metaverse open and to make the necessary steps forward in standards, in protocols, in regulations to make sure that this is the future that we want it to be.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alfred. Thank you, Baptiste. It was a pleasure to have you.
Love, thank you so much.
If you BGA members, you would like to participate, please complete and sign the OMA3 participation agreement and use BGA as the organization code. And please, would love to have you involved in OMA3 activities. So thank you again, Alfred. I see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for having us.